It was the voice of a courageous explorer, a man dedicated to the pursuit of man's knowledge and the expansion of his horizons.
The funkiest.
Hey there, imaginary friends, real men of culture. Maybe there was some other intro that I wanted to do, but never mind. Let me... Okay, never mind. I was wondering what's going on there. I guess this is where we left off, in a way. I'll get into games soon. But first, do not worry. That's not a clickbait title. We'll get into all sorts of stuff, but first, you know, as you might be aware, there has been some controversy and drama about React videos, and all that time there was some breakthrough in the technology. So I mean, I guess the main field of research... Okay, this is too loud. Let me get the fuck away from there. I guess this is not much better, but it is. So yeah, main field of research would be HomePub, Pornhub, of course. So if you go there and suitably go into World of Warcraft category, you might find a React video or React stream. I have no clue. So I mean, the concept itself is amazing, talking about, you know, reaction and sharing of emotion. Maybe there was other stuff I could say about it, but there is no point. You're all already gone. Most of you probably just seeing the title. Maybe you just needed where to go. Maybe you just searched for it in the search engine of choice. So I guess enjoy, have fun. That leaves me to ramble on, to talk to myself about myself. Once again, Flying Start Scuff stream. I wanted to prepare and stuff, but then just, you know, decided, hey, I just wanna stream. Though they're gonna be maybe disappointed a bit, I don't think anything shows about the I don't know how to say it in English, but not trans, but something like that. Doesn't matter. I mean, all this time, you know, what an amazing concept. Reacting to porn. I didn't go into research there fully, but I'm sure you will do it for science. Usually I say it doesn't matter, I'll remember and then talk about it in the next stream, but I never do. I guess the gravity pull of the main thing, once it's gone, all else crumbles. But I don't know if I was understood when I was talking about that accordion player. By the way, I don't know really what to say about, that thing. You heard it here first, folks, and that's it. For that accordion thing, the point is, he was making things overcomplicated, trying to show how big of a virtuoso he was, and the best song he had was some simple catchy tune, and I guess that's the experience he had to have. But that more experienced singer, she knew it instinctively. I doubt that she had those dilemmas. She was hands-on approach kinda singer, so she just knew what works and what is important. And I mean, what I wanted to say, I made it overly complicated, and there can be a lot I could say in this stream, a lot, because Baldur's Gate 3 came out, and that's one of the things, know your player base. There are, I guess, in game design too, but for example, you have some new park or something, some grass area. I don't know if maybe I probably did talk about this, but never mind. Better safe than sorry.
A dark wind is blowing.
There are two ways of going about it. First, see where people go, what path they pick, and then pave it. Or pave the path first and then look how nobody uses it. So, I mean, there are people that can predict things up front and or make things so good that people will choose their viewpoint, but mostly it will just leave some game developer wondering, why is no one playing the way I wanted them to play. And we are using old orc trick here. No Zeppelin, waiting for Zeppelins for us. Never again. Okay, we can go all about that stuff later on, because I'm afraid that I'm gonna talk about all of that a lot, and then once again have only a couple of minutes left to talk about what I really wanted. And I guess I'll have to do this here.
Speak, friend.
Oh fuck, I forgot
May
something.
your blades never dull.
I forgot something. I guess I can do it here. So I don't know if it will be stupid if I start talking about it now, since I didn't prepare, but I guess it will. Yeah, apart from that intro, that might be, intro, the first thing I was talking about, that some people might find useful. Other than this, This is just rambling about, random stuff, nothing really of any importance, even more than usual.
This curse has not broken me yet.
I think it works a lot better on Blood Elf. I fucked up. Could have done that moments ago. I didn't forget, I promised you not a pony but a pawn. So I guess I could start. I will have, I don't know, sometimes I feel like, going, following, the meals, meal courses in the proper order, but sometimes you wanna go straight for the cake. This time there have to be some, I don't know, hors d'oeuvres, however you say it. So, two things I should say first, and it's probably gonna all take me half an hour. I think Chris Metzen somewhere said that he's of Irish descent, but there was a thread on Reddit about somebody thinking that orcs are inspired by Hungarians, fellow Ragnaros players. I have no clue if that is true or not. Apparently they have some raven myth. I mean, pork thing, that's a bit of a stretch, most huge chunk of people has a thing for it.
Strength and honor
Fuck.
for the Horde.
Okay. I was afraid I don't have the flight path. So yeah, and they call themselves, and we call them that also, Magyar. So just like Maghar, only with Y instead of H. And I mean, we all, okay, let me, about this is about we all can't be represented in the game, right? There are a lot of players. Some more distinguished ones get NPC, or maybe some people that don't have any connection with the game at all, one way or another, being knowing people that are there or not. But and I mean, all of that is normal. But we can, I mean, I'm talking here about the representation. We can identify ourselves with a NPC, with a toon. There are many ways I can approach this. I'm not sure which way I go. For example, that human options. I feel more connection with a tune that is well written, even if I have no connection with it otherwise at all. For example, once this illusion runs out, you will see that I play a green orc. I guess also that I have a weak spot for that tragic hero trope. It's sad if it's just easily written and I fall for it, but I do. Orcus, for example, the whole quest is great, and that is known. Tomok, similar thing there. Now do I chance it? Let's stay like this for a while. Tomok also, I mean, you can find it in your garrison. So, and he's purple ogre. So that's all relative, really. What is important is, I mean, it doesn't have to be well written. It can be just some random lawless guy or a girl. But the point is, I have played humans, but that's not, I'm in a fantasy game. Having option is great, it's good. I guess this is the time. Maybe I'll go into politics later on to quote or paraphrase Mao Zedong. Let the 1,000 flowers blossom. So variety, that's great. But that's not something that I like having options, but I'm not gonna have a look at some white human and say, mom, look, it's us. But that being said, like I said, you may identify yourselves with orcs, maybe with, blood elves, undead, trolls. And slowly but surely we might get to the point of this stream. So yeah, all that was really to said that some people might identify themselves with orcs. I mean, maybe there was other stuff, I don't care at this point. I made it too rambling. And yeah, let's talk about physique here. So like I said in one of the previous streams, other races are pretty much humans with some exaggerated features. And there was also a time, because of the some of my close relatives are a bit physically more advanced, so for a little while I identified myself with orcs a bit. Then of course, as I said also that before, transferred to undead are pretty cool, and blood elves too. But one of my childhood friends and a cousin, his grandfather looked exactly like a troll. All the features, I mean, pretty much were there. Chin, nose, ears, the stature, the build, skinny with, slouched a bit. Like I said, the face, the beard, the nose, the ears. I mean, ears, relatively speaking. Pretty much like a troll. there were other parts of the family that were like, those jungle trolls. And but okay, oversharing and weird flexing. I think one of those is in the US working on some DNA research. So not some brute, that's my point. And that's about the physique. When it comes to the other part, that would be, I'm also, it seems obsessed with everything, last names. And there was some, I don't know, show long ago I watched about New Orleans and how there are a lot of families there with the same last name. So people go around family nicknames. So not only personal nicknames but also family nicknames. And that's what was going on in my surrounding as well, because there were huge areas of people with the same last name, so they would operate with the family nicknames. And I discussed that maybe a month ago with someone that he didn't know some guy by his real name, and he spent with him a lot of time together, and only when the nickname and the family nickname were mentioned is that he knew who that was. And they're really unique last names and stuff like that, and that's also fascinating. But so we also get to that, and now maybe I spoiled it, but let's end that here and find the place. Okay, I hope I can find a sweet spot somewhere. So as I was talking about everything before, and this might be a combo of memories because I don't really remember everything correctly. Is the green dragon there? No. We're not. There's some rare here, but fuck that. Fuck. Okay. So, how the fuck did that here? Ah, yeah. The toys. So, let's go with this. So that's, I guess, where I made the rule about making a rogue first if I ever go onto another server. Pretty much because it makes the exploring easier, and then be a sugar mommy or daddy and send stuff to your alt, or as the redditors would say, son or daughter. And so I was on a probably arms warrior, my first toon, orc of course, going around the world exploring, because that was what I got into WoW, and I found this place. And of course I had no clue what was going on there. And I was going deeper and deeper down the rabbit hole as it goes. And then I was thinking if there's a point, if I'm gonna get lost or what's going on. But finally I got to a dungeon, and got around, and like I said, that's when I made the rule. Also, one of the reasons I later on a rogue was doing dungeons and all is because I didn't deal with auction house, and I guess I would find 10 level lower dungeons and do them for gear and gold. I mean gold, gear mainly, and avoiding the trash was nice. Just kill the bosses if you can and get the gear. So kills the immersion. So like I said, okay, I guess we can speed run this now. So I was going around and doing stuff, and then I noticed something. Now I'm thinking if I should say it or not. So I noticed something. I noticed in the circles above me there were terraces, and on the terraces there were trolls. So I went out and started looking for the way to reach them, because I think I tried charging and stuff but I couldn't reach them. So I looked and found a way to get to one of them, killed him, and then went around, killed another one. I wasn't always successful into finding a way to get to them, and would get lost and confused where I was going. And after, I don't know how many of them is there, I don't know, 5 or more, around 5, probably more, and about, I don't know how many kills, I noticed a pattern in names. And after I noticed the pattern in names, I thought to myself, could it be? So I maniacally started going around, killing everything in sight, trying to find the next troll. And it was, pretty hectic, pretty wild. Like, I was in a trance. I went from one, then, not really panic, but, trying to find another one. And that was going till I think it was the last one or maybe there were only 2 left. But I think it was the last one. And when I finally reached that one, there he was in all his glory, Loro, because that was the family nickname of that cousin of mine. and that troll looked exactly like his grandfather. So that's my representation right there. That's all the representation I need, because that's the magic of RNG right there. I mean, not really RNG, but you know, trollolol. I guess a lot of was bound to happen, but I'm not gonna let you ruin this for me. And so there we are. All this for that. Now, I never was. I mean, do we? My country is a small one. Maybe people don't spend. I mean, there are people that do, and the software industries are getting bigger and bigger. There are people with those stories about, you know, selling their companies for tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars here. I probably mentioned Keanu Reeves was here for some company, I guess, to do that face scanning for Cyberpunk. I think I said that already. But you know, you have companies like that in other countries as well, even neighboring countries. My point is, maybe there are some microtransactions going on here, but of course a lot less than the other bigger, economically more sound ones. So of course logic is that apart from diversity, those countries would be a lot more represented. Still, that being said, I am still content with the representation apart from this one. I mean, I have encountered a lot of, you know, things named. I mean, maybe some things might be a coincidence. I know that one guy in the all dollar Hodin. I remember reading a comment that means worm in Finnish or something. So things like that do happen. Maybe they are coincidences, maybe they are not. Maybe there are people working on a game. I have encountered some stuff that is not most certainly a coincidence. Some of them I will not mention any of them, because you know, I don't know if someone might be crazy enough to try and ruin it. And even now, recently, I have seen some things in Diablo that, I mean, from YouTube, not from playing, that are pretty much, you know, some kind of representation. And even in anime, but in anime it was because of the specific things that are directly connected with Serbia. So that is my point. You know, and if you ask me what is your point, I have no clue. I'll probably go outside soon. Outside of game. Don't be silly. To see what was this really about. But something I wanted to say, because yeah, I read long ago on Wowpedia that, because the stuff I mentioned before, was, you know, naming wise and stuff, the only one guy, yeah, Stratholm has two things. I think maybe you heard of him. I don't know, people have various opinions of him, but the point is that Goran Bregovic was supposed to be represented in, I think, in Stratholm as Boran Gregovic, but that was scrapped, I guess. And maybe I'll have the time to talk about politics as well. But the point is, the politics is already in game. That Demon Lord in Stratholm, that's politics. Having organization and taking it over from the inside, pretending everything still stands when in reality you're making everybody just useful idiots, is a real thing, a political thing. So there was that in WoW, but in a good way, you know, get you to know about real stuff. But let's get back to the representation. So he was supposed to be there, but he wasn't, and that was, I think, the only person from here that should have had, you know, as a real person, a real representation. And I always, you know, wow, way of doing things, you know, just swapping the letters. I was thinking about this tune of mine, Skongrin, Gronskin, but no.
Shadows gather.
Time to go into text document. Yeah, I guess. I guess that was pretty much it. Now I might go into politics a bit since I started with a Stratholm thing, because I guess we have a little bit of time. I don't know if I should just... I'm not gonna end it, that's for sure, you know. Once I start going, I'm not stopping till I have to. Yeah, about representation. I mentioned in the last stream Temple of Elemental Evil, and apparently the character made there was I don't know if this is true, but I think the first homosexual character in games. I don't know if that how that true that is. I'm not sure, but I'll just say it here and, you know, be disproven later if needed be. And apparently it was a beloved character because it was very well written. I mean, like the rest of the game, and that's exactly my point. I don't know whether that's my point, you know. 2 needs to be well written and to have a point and to make sense, and the fantasy and everything, and then, you know, it doesn't, nothing stands out. And as for the you know, relationships of the characters and all, I'm not sure about that either. I know usually in comic books they would avoid that. Whether that is the way to go or not, I don't know. And I mean, I met a trans guy once, and we were talking, and he told me how he comes from a smaller place, and how he went to a bigger town, and all the issues he had before and after, and the things he had to went through. And I told him, listen man, I'm not paying you to talk. That's a stolen joke, by the way. I don't know if I butchered it too much. I mean, okay, I could have go into, maybe I can still go into politics. I mean, it's all fake, really. The narrative. It's the easiest way of divide and conquer. You talk about that while, the things that, I mean, for people that are affected by it, sure, but most people are not, and are wasting their time on talking about and dealing up with it. And most things are already said, so I'm not really gonna talk about that. But talking about politics, I mean, it's usually all done by, for example, this kind of stuff by white producers that only care about the color of money. So, with that in mind, I mean, and it's always done with the already established brands. You're not gonna have some, I don't know, startup, approaching those issues. If you have a startup, and if they decide to do anything, they're gonna go with some bloody titties. So that's, I mean, look at the climate change and stuff. Who did they pick? Bud Light picks, I'm not gonna go into that. And climate change picks, little Swedish girl. I'm checking what else I could join this stream with. I guess, okay, I don't have to say this now. And the next one, if there is a next one. Yeah. This stream I decided to go with something a bit less controversial. And while talking about, okay, I should have probably end this a bit before. I mean, when we talk about complicated things, when you had those weather balloons, it was strange and surprising, right? To me as well. Even more to see that army guy talk about aliens. That's when it was clear to me that something is going on, something else, that that's just a distraction. And then I heard about laptop that was going on about those days. But then I thought, why would the other side send distraction? And then I remember there's a connection between those two sides. and that laptop and the research facility, and then it was all clear. Now, that's probably set somewhere, but I kinda connected the dots myself. Whether those dots were supposed to be connected or not, I think they were pretty close. But on that note, and in this place,
This curse has not broken me yet.
not something I really should have ended the stream, but never mind.
See you soon. Real soon.